The story starts in an unprecedented way. Our main character, Hanzai, was standing in the middle of the city with his little puppy, and a guy was destroying the city and was killing people with his huge contracted creatures. He was feeling really good doing this. Hanzai with his classmates was running to seek a safe place, but then the guy blocks their way and tells them that his snake is hungry and is looking for some young students to eat. The giant snake leaps at them. Hanzai tells everyone to run in separate directions. He had no other option but to hold them back. Suddenly 3 giant lions appears before him, and with their one strike, he flies away and crashes badly on some furniture. He gets up. His classmates looks at him but decides to inform the teacher about the matter. Even in all this tense situation, Hanzai actually had a smile on his face. He was happy that now there was no one in between them. The guy had a giant red dragon. Then the little puppy Hanzai starts transforming into something else. The guy's lion attacks him, but with one kick, Hanzai knocks down even him. The body of the lion was below his feet, and the little puppy was now a ferocious large dog behind him. He calls the puppy Dao and asks him to not use any foul language this time. Let's take a look into who Hanzai really is. He was somehow teleported to the current world about 19 years ago from his real world. After a long wait, finally it was his day to make contract with a beast. Everyone had their own requirements for contracts. Some were confident, others were nervous. 2 of Hanzai's classmates were talking about him. They were trying to guess how strong his contracted beast will be, as he was best liberal arts student this year and has strong mental power. They predicts that he might become a legendary figure in the future. Hanzai was clearly pissed hearing all this. Then they starts talking about Wang Kai, who was second after Hanzai. His family background was also good, but still they considers him weaker than Hanzai. Wang Kai was actually hearing all this and was miffed. He goes to Hanzai and asks him to check whose beast is better after the contract is done. Hanzai tells him that he is not interested and leaves. Wang Kai was even more after this interaction. It was finally the time. They were all standing under a huge tower. It was the famous contract tower. Everyone, including Hanzai, was amazed to see how spectacular it is. Suddenly, Hanzai hears a voice, and it was asking him what does he want. Hanzai remembers that the teacher mentioned that it is the contract tower and his spiritual resonance space. He realizes that the contract tower was talking to him. To answer the tower's question, he was about to ask for what he wants, but suddenly he hears the teacher's voice, instructing him to go inside the tower and make contract as it was his turn. He steps in and stands on the magic circle, which was the switch to open the entire contract tower. He teleports to a very mysterious place. It was looking heavenly, and in front of him was the contract hall. He bites his thumb and advances towards it. He drops his blood into the water kept there, and then a beam of light flashes from the sky. And then a lot of bubbles comes out of the sky. Hanzai was wondering why he was getting so many while actually a person could make contracts with 5 creatures maximum. Then one of the bubbles turned red. Hanzai could feel that it was a special one. So, he grabs it, and then when he opens his fist, he had a luminous sign in his palm. He names his creature Yoga. Thus, the contract was finally done. It was the last spark for people to fight against nature. Originally, this planet was a parallel world that was nearly identical to Earth. But decades ago, fog began to cover the entire planet. Since then, the remaining creatures except humans have undergone mutations, and the space for human activities has been greatly compressed. And these creatures were hunting humans. Just when people built high walls to resist the fog and mutated creatures, the contract tower appeared. That's how the contracts came into being. People who mastered the driving of giant beasts gradually had the capital to fight against nature. Some people believed that it was the end of the world, while others said that it was God's punishment for human beings' contempt for nature. As per Hanzai, it was just survival of the fittest. Everybody was having some sort of contract with some kind of creature. The blonde girl from before was crying as her creature was actually a grass. Their teacher tells them that students who have contracted with weaker creatures should not be discouraged. They might not be special force, but they were also an indispensable new force for the country. Some students questions him why they all always contract with foreign beasts. The teacher yells them that, not only them but people all over China are also curious to know the answer to this. But for some reason, very few people can make contracts with domestic beasts. Moreover, once in a while, there is a person and divine beast contracted to the country, and they are all pitifully weak. A red lightning was striking the tower top while Hanzai was making contract. Even the teacher was scared to see that. When the other students asks him what the matter is, he tells them that all of this is happening because Hanzai have contracted to a divine beast. Wang Kai was more jealous than anyone else. The mayor and his men were observing all this. Everyone in the city were aware that someone is contracting with an unbelievable creature. A big guy was harassing a person to take his contracted beast. He sees it happening as well. Hanzai was nervous. Then finally his beast appears. It was a little puppy. Hanzai feels disappointed after getting just a regular earth dog. He remembers that when he was a child in his previous life, his family raised a cat that looked really similar. He holds the dog and pats it gently but was still disappointed. The next door opens and he enters there. A window projection appears before him. It congratulates him for successfully making a contract with Swallow, the god dog. Hanzai was shocked to see this as the dog seems to be an ordinary dog unlike stated. Then it asks him if he wants to open the beginner's gift pack now or wait for it. He thinks about it and presses no. The tower's exit door finally opens and Hanzai comes out of it. Everyone was expecting it to be some big ferocious beast, but when they sees Hanzai holding a little puppy, they bursts to laugh and makes fun of him. Hanzai does not replies anything and keeps walking. The students were now preferring to be friend with Wang Kai as he now has a huge beast. Wang Kai blocks Hanzai way and tells him to go back to his gutter. Wang calls his beast Behemoth. It was huge, but Swallow was also staring at it with anger. On the other hand, that big guy was also looking for his next prey after killing that person. His bat located Hanzai's position and they were now ready to go to hunt him down. Wang Kai was ready to fight with Hanzai. People gathered around them to witness it. Swallow was angry, but Behemoth was looking dangerous. It charges towards Hanzai. Swallow also jumps off him and red sparks were coming out of its body. Behemoth tries to strike him with its claw, but suddenly something hits him and he falls down. No one could see what happened. Wang Kai runs to him and asks Hanzai what did he do to his beast. Then suddenly their teacher comes in and finishes the fight. He tells Wang Kai to not be too complacent with his beast or he will not achieve anything in his life. He pulls Wang Kai's ears and scolds him for using the contracted beast so carelessly, due to which now it was exhausted. Wang Kai apologizes to him for the trouble. Hanzai asks Swallow if he did it. Swallow signals him a no and starts rolling on the ground. Then Hanzai hugs him and plays more with him. The girls were impressed to see how adorable Swallow was. They asks Hanzai if they can touch him. Hanzai gladly offers them to do it. So, they pats him on the head and hugs him. Then they asks Hanzai his name. Hanzai ponders a little and then names it Dao. The girls like the name. The Hanzai's eyes falls on the blonde girl with her little plant. They both exchanges a smile. Then Hanzai checks Dao's stats. He finds out that he was a SSS grade creature and have 100% loyalty. Then some people comes to their teacher and asks him if he will mind if they take him and his students for a few minutes. The teacher respectfully addresses them as captains and asks them why were they there. They tells him that they were all attracted by the vision of the Black Contract Tower. Captain Zhang asks them to talk to the students one by one after the shift is over, like they do in the previous years, but in the end Zhang convinces him to lend them some students. The teacher explains all the students that the four in front of them are the captains in charge of the war group stationed in the academy. Captain Zhang, Captain Xiao, and their two deputy teams. He tells them that they are here to select seed players for their teams, so they need to think carefully and not make blind decisions. Thus, after getting permission, they starts recruiting. Captain Zhang calls the blonde girl of all and asks her to join their second search team. The girl was confused. She tries to explain to Captain Xiao that her creature is just a grass, but Xiao tells her that she want her at all costs, and a snake-like tentacle comes out of her and attacks the girl. But the grass cuts it like a blade. Everyone was shocked to see this. Xiao especially was really excited and asks her to join her sister's team at all cost. The girl was not sure what to say, but then she thinks about Hanzai. She asks Xiao some time to think about the offer. Xiao agrees and tells her that she will come to her dormitory to chat with her at night. Then she leaves. The other people were curious to know how she caught their eye. The teacher was wondering how could that grass be so strong. Could it be some kind of mutated plant that has not been discovered yet, or Hanzai's vision was actually caused by the monster grass, just delayed due to some unknown reason? He was not sure. On the other hand, Wang Kai stops Hanzai and tells him to wait after admission. But Hanzai was focused on enter into the inner ring. Later that day, Hanzai opens his novice package in his dormitory, but all he receives is some dog food and then a dog breeding guidebook. So, now he had no other choice but to check what's written in the book. So, he reads the book while feeding Dao. Dao bites his hand. Hanzai realizes that he has to train him well first. The dog food was increasing Dao's experience level. and he still wanted to eat more. But before that, Hanzai takes him to the training ground to teach him some basic moves. An old man was watching them. He finds him interesting as he was there for basic training by himself, unlike others before the school starts. Hanzai teaches Dao swimming, running on the treadmill, lifting weight and other basic stuff. Then they both takes a shower. Hanzai checks his own stats to see how strong is he now, and he was surprised to see the results. He finds out that with the upgrading of Dao, his stats were also increasing in a crazy speed. He was very happy. Dao was eating so much that he finishes 93 bags in just 3 days. Hanzai was on a tight budget. He thinks of buying some food as a reserve and reporting to his family. There were telephone booths and communication was possible now only via that because of the fog around half of the world. He was about to pick up the telephone, then he hears 3 people talking about him. Their pockets were stuffed with cash. They were looking for Hanzai. Hanzai goes to him and asks him why is he looking for him. Wai Hao tells him that it's due to her sister, that she was worried that she did not hear from him for a day and she sneaked out to wait for him in the alley behind. After telling this much, they leaves. Hanzai doubts it as she was too little to come there alone. He wonders if it is Wang trying to take revenge, but as he was too strong now, he was not afraid. Thus, he enters the alley. As soon as he enters, the huge bat tries to attack him. He dodges it, but behind him was that big bad guy. He wonders why his beast is a little dirt dog. He commands his bat to kill Hanzai and spare Dao. The bat releases its sonic sound waves. Hanzai shuts his ears and could not move. The man was happy that after catching the dog, the man in black will recruit him. But then suddenly, red aura comes out of Dao and takes form of a big hound. On the other hand, Hanzai grabs the bat and slams it against the wall. The man starts bleeding as well. Hanzai calls him weak. The man was really angry and charges at him and asks the bat to give him maximum power so that he can shatter Hanzai's internal organs. Hanzai leaves the bat, and before the man could hit him, he strikes him on his chest. The hit shatters his ribcage and damages his internal organs. Then Hanzai grabs the bat as well and tears its one wing apart and steps on it. The man was absolutely shocked to see a new kid being so strong. Crawling like a rat, he tries to escape.
It's the end of this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more videos.